The man who created the deadliest weapon in history died with only $1.5 million to his name. His rifle killed 250,000 people every single year. He never saw a penny in royalties. And get this, the gun you call an AK-47 probably isn't even an AK-47. What you're about to discover will shatter everything you thought you knew about the world's most famous rifle. Number 13. The name is actually wrong. Starting at number 13, the name everyone uses is completely wrong. Most people call it the AK-47, but here's the truth. Almost nobody actually owns a real AK-47. The gun you see everywhere from war zones to movies is actually the AKM, not the AK-47. The original AK-47 was made from 1949 to the late 1950s. These guns had heavy receivers cut from solid blocks of steel. They were expensive and hard to make. In 1959, Russia introduced the AKM, which stands for Automatic Kalashnikov Modernized. This new gun used stamped metal instead of milled steel, making it lighter and cheaper to produce. That gun you see rebels carrying in news footage? That's an AKM. The rifle your local gun range rents out? Also an AKM. The AK-47 name stuck because it sounds cool, but the gun that actually armed the world was its younger brother. Truth number 12. The inventor died practically broke. Number 12 will blow your mind. Mikhail Kalashnikov created the most produced weapon in history. Around 100 million AK-type rifles exist worldwide. But he never saw royalties. Not one penny. Why? Because the Soviet Union didn't care about patents. Kalashnikov was just a sergeant in the army when he designed the rifle in 1947. The government owned the design. He earned a basic military salary, somewhere between $50 to $250 per month. When Kalashnikov died in 2013 at age 94, his net worth was only about $1.5 million. Compare that to the billions his rifle generated worldwide. He once said, "At that time in our country, patenting inventions wasn't an issue. We worked for socialist society, for the good of the people, which I never regret." Late in life, Kalashnikov finally made some money. He licensed his name to vodka companies and did celebrity appearances at gun shows. But by then, countless copies of his design were being made without permission across the globe. Truth number 11. It was born in a hospital bed. At number 11, the origin story nobody talks about. The AK-47 wasn't created in a fancy weapons lab. It started in a hospital. In October 1941, Mikhail Kalashnikov was a tank commander fighting Nazi Germany. During the Battle of Bryansk, he was badly wounded and pulled from his burning tank. While recovering in the hospital, Kalashnikov heard wounded soldiers complaining about their rifles. Soviet troops had to share weapons. Sometimes 2 or 3 soldiers shared one rifle. Meanwhile, German soldiers all carried automatic weapons. One soldier asked him, "Why do our soldiers have only one rifle for 2 or 3 of our men when the Germans have automatics?" That question haunted Kalashnikov. He started sketching designs while still in his hospital bed. He spent the next 5 years developing his rifle. When the AK-47 was officially accepted in 1949, it changed warfare forever. Truth number 10. The reliability myth isn't entirely true. Number 10 destroys the biggest myth about the AK-47. Everyone knows the AK-47 works in any condition, right? It can be dropped in mud, sand, or water and still fire. That's the legend. But recent testing shows the truth is more complicated. Tests by firearms experts revealed something shocking. When subjected to heavy mud tests, AK rifles actually struggled more than AR-15s in certain conditions. The AK has a large gap between the receiver and the dust cover. Mud can get into that gap and slow down the bolt carrier, preventing the gun from working. However, the AK still wins in one important way. If mud or debris gets inside the operating system, the AK can keep firing with bigger amounts of crud than other rifles. The loose tolerances and simple gas piston system mean dirt has more room to exist without jamming the gun. The real genius? The AK doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be good enough, and in that department, few rifles can compete. Truth number 9. One country put it on their flag. Coming in at number 9, something absolutely wild. Mozambique is the only country in the world with a modern firearm on its national flag, and it's an AK-47. The flag shows an AK-47 with a bayonet crossed with a farming hoe placed over an open book. Why? The gun represents the country's fight for independence from Portugal. The hoe represents agriculture. The book represents education. This caused huge controversy. Opposition politicians wanted the gun removed. One member of parliament said, "As a peaceful country, you can't have a flag with a gun on it." For children growing up now in peace, they see a flag with a gun on it, and it doesn't make sense. But the ruling party refused to change it. The AK-47 remains on the flag today, making Mozambique's banner unique among all nations. Zimbabwe and East Timor also feature the AK-47 on their coats of arms, though not on their flags. Truth number 8. The price tells you when war is coming. Number 8 is downright scary. Here's something spooky. The price of an AK-47 on the black market can predict when violence is about to explode. The worldwide average price for an AK is between $100 and $300, but the price changes based on stability. When a country is peaceful, AKs might sell for cheap. When things are about to go bad, the price spikes dramatically. In some war-torn regions, AKs have been sold for as little as $10, sometimes traded for just a chicken or a sack of grain. In 2024, reports from Haiti and Sudan showed black market prices for AKs had exploded, signaling state control was failing and uprisings were coming. Arms experts actually track AK prices as an indicator of social unrest. It's like a stock market for chaos. The more expensive the AKs become, the more likely an uprising is about to take place. Truth number 7. There's one for every 60 people on Earth. At number 7, the numbers are staggering. Think about this number. Between 75 and 100 million AK-47 type rifles exist in the world. That's one AK for every 60 to 70 people on the planet. Out of 500 million total firearms worldwide, approximately 100 million belong to the Kalashnikov family. 3/4 of those are AK-47s. That makes it the most produced weapon system in human history. More AK-type weapons have been produced than all other assault rifles combined. The next most widespread rifle family is the M16 line, with only about 10 million total. Production continues today at a rate of roughly 1 million per year worldwide. Russia itself only makes about 10 to 12% of that number. The rest comes from over 20 other countries, many producing them without official licenses. Truth number 6. The U.S. lost 110,000 of them in Iraq. Number 6 is an embarrassing military disaster. During the Iraq War, the United States military had a major problem. They were arming Iraqi security forces with AK-47s because Iraqi soldiers were already familiar with them. But tracking those weapons became a disaster. Between 2004 and 2005, the Pentagon lost track of about 110,000 AK-47 assault rifles and 80,000 pistols given to Iraqi forces. They simply vanished. Many of these rifles ended up in the hands of insurgent groups fighting against American troops. The situation got so bad that the U.S. began issuing M16 rifles to Iraqi forces instead, hoping to maintain better control. At first, the U.S. had to buy these AKs from other countries like Jordan just to arm Iraqi soldiers. The irony: American soldiers were being shot at with weapons their own government had purchased. Truth number 5. Stamped rifles outlive milled ones. Halfway there at number 5, this one surprises even experts. Here's something that confuses even experienced gun owners. There are two types of AK receivers, milled and stamped. Most people assume milled receivers cut from solid steel blocks last longer. They're wrong. The original AK-47s had milled receivers. They were heavy, about 9.5 pounds empty. The newer stamped versions weigh only about 6.9 pounds. But here's the shocking part. According to Soviet military manuals, stamped receivers actually have a longer life expectancy in terms of rounds fired. Data from Battlefield Vegas, a shooting range with fully automatic AKs, backs this up. Their stamped receivers usually last 80,000 to 100,000 rounds before catastrophic failure. Milled receivers? None have failed yet, but experts believe the added rigidity may actually shorten their service life under heavy military use. The stamped receiver's slight flexibility gives it better resilience to hard use. It can bend and flex without breaking. The milled receiver is more rigid, which sounds good, but can lead to metal fatigue over time. Truth number 4, it's not actually that accurate. Number 4 bursts another bubble. Let's be honest. The AK-47 isn't winning any precision shooting competitions. The rifle's accuracy is good enough to hit an adult male torso out to about 300 meters, but even expert shooters firing from bench rest positions at that range have difficulty placing 10 consecutive rounds on target. An AK can fire a 10-shot group of about 5.9 inches at 100 meters. At 300 meters, that group spreads to 17.5 inches. The milled receiver AKs can shoot 3 to 5 inch groups at 100 yards. The stamped versions are slightly worse. One gun owner who put 35,000 rounds through his AK reported starting with 4.73 MOA accuracy. After years of intentionally poor maintenance to test reliability, his groups expanded to 5.8 inches at 100 yards. The AK was designed to be minute of man, accurate at engagement distances. The chrome-lined barrel improves reliability, but hurts precision. The heavy bolt carrier and loose tolerances also reduce accuracy. But that was the whole point: reliability over precision. Truth number 3, the inventor had regrets before he died. We're entering the top 3. Number 3 is heartbreaking. For most of his life, Mikhail Kalashnikov felt no guilt about his creation. He always said, "I sleep well. It's the politicians who are to blame for failing to come to an agreement and resorting to violence." But something changed near the end. In the last year of his life, Kalashnikov wrote a letter to the head of the Russian Orthodox Church. The letter revealed deep spiritual pain. He wrote, "The pain in my soul is unbearable. I keep asking myself the same unsolvable question. If my assault rifle took people's lives, that means that I am responsible for their deaths." At the bottom of the letter, he signed it, "A slave of God, the designer Mikhail Kalashnikov." He also said in an interview, "I'm proud of my invention, but I am sad that it is used by terrorists. I would prefer to have invented a machine that people could use and that would help farmers with their work. For example, a lawnmower." Kalashnikov died in December 2013, his conscience troubled by a weapon that had claimed more lives than any other firearm in history. Truth number 2, American soldiers preferred it over their own rifles. The silver medal goes to number 2, a military embarrassment. During the Vietnam War, something embarrassing happened to the U.S. military. American soldiers started throwing away their M16 to pick up AK-47s from dead enemy soldiers. Kalashnikov himself bragged about this in 2007. During the Vietnam War, American soldiers would throw away their M16s to grab AK-47s and bullets for it from dead Vietnamese soldiers. Why? Early M16s had serious reliability problems. They jammed in the jungle environment. The AK-47 just kept working. It handled mud, humidity, and rough treatment better than the American rifle. Some U.S. soldiers in Iraq and Afghanistan also expressed preference for AKs, especially in sandy desert conditions where dust tended to jam their M16. The weapon's suitability for jungle and desert fighting made it nearly ideal for Third World insurgents. Moscow distributed the AK-47 widely and licensed its production in about 30 countries. The irony wasn't lost on military planners. The bad guy gun often outperformed American weapons in real combat conditions. Truth number 1, The design was inspired by German and American rifles. And finally, number 1, the truth that changes everything. Mikhail Kalashnikov didn't invent the AK-47 from scratch. He combined the best features of other weapons. During World War II, the German Sturmgewehr 44 made a huge impression on Soviet forces. It was the first real mid-range infantry rifle, using a new type of ammunition between a rifle and pistol cartridge. Kalashnikov studied captured German rifles. He also examined American M1 Garand rifles. One source states, Kalashnikov decided to design an automatic rifle combining the best features of the American M1 Garand and the German St. G 44. However, the AK-47 is not a direct copy of the German rifle. While the St. G 44 used a tilting bolt mechanism, Kalashnikov's design uses a long-stroke gas piston and rotating bolt, similar to the M1 Garand. Kalashnikov had help too. He later named Alexander Zaitsev and Vladimir Dakin as his major collaborators. Zaitsev actually suggested a major redesign in late 1946 that improved reliability. At first, Kalashnikov was reluctant because their rifle had already performed better than competitors. But Zaitsev convinced him, and in November 1947, the new prototypes were completed. Kalashnikov himself said, "Before attempting to create something new, it is vital to have a good appreciation of everything that already exists in this field." The real genius wasn't inventing something completely new. It was taking existing ideas and making them simpler, tougher, and more reliable than anything that came before. So there you have it. From number 13 down to number 1. 13 shocking truths about the AK-47 that most owners never discover. This rifle has shaped modern history more than any other weapon. It's been used in nearly every conflict since the 1950s. About 50 standing armies use it today, including those of China, Egypt, Cuba, and Iran. Approximately 100,000 to 250,000 people die each year from AK-47 wounds, more than any nuclear weapon has ever killed. Yet the man who created it died practically broke, haunted by guilt over his invention's legacy. The AK-47 is more than just a gun. It's a symbol. It appears on flags, in revolutionary movements, and in the hands of both heroes and villains. Love it or hate it, the Kalashnikov rifle changed the world forever. That rifle you thought you knew? Now you know its real secrets. Thanks for watching. If you learned something new today, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments. Which truth shocked you the most?